Well, intro could be better, but whatever, I'm still learning. We're gonna set up our little town here, and then we're gonna hop in the game, lay down some preliminary buildings. Hopefully it won't take too long. I'm gonna start my timer really quick here. Stopwatch. And let's see, not Berrytown. I could use the randomized name, but I think I'll use one of my favorites. Zenoth. Randomize the map seed a bit. Okay, so terrain type. As I mentioned, I installed a mod. It adds hills and plains, but I don't want people to think like I'm being too cheaty with this, so I'm gonna go with valleys. One of the standard ones. Terrain size I'm going to keep on large. I like just playing large games, having plenty of room to expand, even if I never get to the point where I use all of it. And that's another note. I'm not sure, like, what this playlist is going to be like, really. This is probably going to be a very on and off, I'll play for a while, and then I'll leave for a couple months type Let's Play. So we'll see how our game develops, how our village develops. And when I get bored, and when I feel like playing, we might pick it up again, or we might start anew. Only the future can tell. Let's see. So, I think the lower end of the middle ground I'll go with. So, harsh climate. And we're going to keep disasters on for more content. TOL is Tree of Life. It adds animals to the game, like wild animals. In the base game, it's only deer. This one will take all of the animals and add them in, so you'll have random flocks of sheep and herds of cattle and such just wandering the map, which I think is a bit more realistic than one single species of animal, wild animal, just wandering around, and you having to solely bring in all your animals through trade. I'm not sure if you can capture them for the wild. I don't think you can, so I think that aspect is preserved, and you still have to trade in order to bring in animals. I might be wrong, though. Adam and Eve is another mod, which starts you off with just two people, one male, one female, and you have to sort of build up from there, which I imagine is very difficult, so yeah, we're not going to be doing that. I might take on that challenge in another Let's Play, but not my first one. So, animals, trees, and full. It does the same with trees. It adds all the trees to the wild, so we're gonna put it on both. I kind of want to do hard, because it seems most realistic, like just people thrown out into the woods with a single card, and then they wait until like their leader's elected, and then you start playing after they've already had a shed. I don't know, I don't like that, but for the sake of like preserving time and everything, I don't want it to be too grindy for us to trudge through a lot before we can get to the stuff. So I'm going to give myself a little initial boost in the population here. It will start us off with a barn, a storage shed, which I really can't do anything about. And that adds another aspect to it where like I don't get to choose where my starting position is. Normally you have like your little cart and you can go like, I don't really like this spot, and then start building your village next to like the water. This one will place my shed there, and then around that shed I'll make my city center, no matter where it is. So yeah, these are the options for the city of Zenoth. Let me see how long I've been going. Probably not that long. Yeah, 3 minutes. I'm a bit paranoid. We're gonna hop right in. I'm gonna cut out the loading more than likely, because it can take a while. So yeah, see you on the other side. settle down there. Alright, so we're back in. Give me a good moment to set up my menu. Oh, we've spawned right on the main river. That is lovely. I can build a trade post up here. And yeah, I didn't realize harsh meant windy. I hope that doesn't interrupt my voice. I'll try to enunciate a bit better than I usually do. So, let's see. Yeah, big river loop, some lakes, plenty of forest. We actually got placed, like, right on the edge of a plain, so we can sort of just expand out into this direction. This is really lovely. This is a really good spot. Of all the spots, like, I could have been forced to spawn on, like, I could have been forced to spawn, like, in a crater, and then that would have been so annoying. But nah. And I had another one where, like, I couldn't get to the main river without crossing, like, 2 other rivers. So, yeah. This is really beautiful. The game's going easy on me. Let me get my menu set up. And in the positions that I like. Got quite a few lakes. Then log down here. Info, info, info. So yeah, I think this is us, dead center in the middle of the map. Let's see. So, for our initial build, I'm going to have 2 little establishments, the hamlet and the village. The village is going to be over here, and I'll find a place to put the hamlet, probably tucked away off to the side. And for starters, I kind of want to reserve this area for a trade post, just aesthetically. So I think we're going to go on to the other side of this hill and set up our first building, which is going to be the fishing docks, which, I don't know, I kind of like to use fishing initially. I think it's a good source of food, as opposed to, like, hunting and such, so I like to have a fishing dock. It just generates food. Your people don't have to go out and find an animal. They don't have to plant crops and everything. They just catch fish, bring them to the dock. This looks like a good spot, like on the corner, so you get a tiny bit of extra. And I'm not going to worry about roads on that. So, next, I think I want to set it up over here just south of the dock and north of this hill. So, let me find, these are the resource buildings, the Forester's Lodge, and yeah, looks like a lovely place to put it. So, let me loop it around, and then we're going to build up a lot of our production buildings around this Forester's Lodge. The Forester's Lodge will plant a forest within this ring, and its primarily purpose is to collect logs. So, it maintains the amount of trees that are inside this circle, and it'll periodically collect firewood and building materials from that area. And it's good to have like a forest because a lot of the buildings rely on forest to operate. You have your herbalists, which collect herbs, which only grow in forest, and you have like the deer hunters and the deer and wild animals and stuff congregate in forest. So you build like a little establishment that takes up just the inner third of the ring, and then the outer third is what everyone collects from and uses. And there's some rumor about, give me a moment, getting a call. I do apologize for that, mine comrades, but that was a very important call for a job I might possibly be getting, and real life needs and sustenance supersede startup hobbies. So let's see. I was talking about forests and such. Where's my thing? Forester's Lodge, and I didn't add anything around it. I have no clue where I left off. But yeah, your hunters and stuff, you want them to be within that ring. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna set down a couple more buildings, starting with the hunter's cabin, and we're gonna want to try and keep them as close to this Forester's Lodge as we can possibly get them. We're going to want a hunter's, gatherer's hut, I'll say on the other side. then, what was the last one? It was like a herbalist or something, but that is the herbalist. No, this is the herbalist. Okay. Ah, that fits perfect. Oh, almost perfectly. Oh well. So let's see. I think that's the road there. Let me rotate it until it's okay. It's hard to see exactly where everything is. With the trees getting in the way, you can't see where your foundations are. I think we've got the 4 that we wanted. Another thing we're going to want to do is actually put houses down here, because people will automatically sort of gravitate to where there works in search of living conditions. And if you have all your people in the city, they're living in the city and they're going to recreational places in the city, which they actually do that. They'll hang around in graveyards and such, and I actually have mods that add statues and benches, which they'll sort of gravitate towards when they're not working. So, you don't want them traveling back and forth every day. You want them as close to their workplace as possible to maximize production. So, to that end, we're going to use this. These little houses, they're exactly as they sound. They're little houses, and you can build one story on top of each other. It's part of a mod, and it sort of balances that in that they hold only one family per floor, but they're nice and compact, so I like to use them for these little hamlets here, where I don't want the space going to use on the, what do you call it? I'm trying to save space in the circle, more space for hunting and such to grow. There's my gatherer. Okay, so I'm going to want this to be placed dead center. I hope that fits. 1, 2, yeah, that should fit. The weird thing about this house, though, is that there's not really a, I can't select it, 2-story system in Banished, like a multi-level story. All the building placements will be placed on the map, so in order to get the second floor of the house, the developer of this mod had to actually like set the house itself, the actual object, kind of off to the side. So the stairwell is the only thing that is actually the house, as you can see here. And let me line it up, and the rest of it is just like a graphic that sort of extends, which I kind of like. I did it in a couple earlier games where I built this little second floor over just any kind of professional building. I made sure that it looked aesthetically pleasing so it didn't seem too cheating and everything, but it looked nice over my woodcutters and everything, so I really like this mod. But yeah, it's just like a graphic that's placed over it, but the actual object only exists in that 6x2 grid. So that's our hamlet, and we're going to pause everything except the Forester's Lodge, I think, because we want our villagers to just focus on a couple things at a time, and I've already got 4 buildings queued up. We're going to make that 5 as we get started on the main village, which I'm going to build some dirt roads real quick, just for the sake of it. We have our stockpile and our storage barn full of tools and some food. I really do feel Irish now with the potatoes. And I'm going to want this road to extend up the side of that, and then we'll kind of build our houses within this area. I'm going to make a little, either a T-junction or another kind of junction, crossroads. And I want 4 houses. definitely, let me pull up my roads again. And we'll build that. And again, we're gonna pause all but one of these. This might actually be too much production, but I want to get the Forester online, and I want to get the fishing online, and the little house is weird, so I don't want to pause that or fuck with it. Like, the mods are all kind of inherently unstable. I've had weird instances where they just refuse to build modern buildings, which can be annoying, even when everyone's a builder. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because as I said, I do enjoy this mod. I do like that particular one very much. We're going to oculate some labor to builders. As you can see, the villagers you have will default to being a laborer. So if they can't perform their job for any reason, or if you haven't assigned them a task or assigned a number of villagers to be in that profession, they're going to default to being laborers. So I'm going to unpause it and let them get started. And I think it'll be safe to just have everyone be a builder. Actually, no, it won't. Because I forgot one thing. We don't want to mess with the trees really yet, but that's the area. I want to collect all of the stone and all of the iron from within this Forester Lodge. More places for trees and the like to be set down. And that's really not a lot. And as for the trees, I'll just clear away this little patch right here. It's outside of the range, and probably this one too. Yeah, that looks nice. And now we're gonna get started. So the laborers will go about picking up stone and cutting down trees and doing that sort of thing, whereas everyone else is going to go and start working on building these houses. I'm gonna put it up to a different speed though. They do kind of walk and work slowly and everything. I find speed 5 to be really good. It's just like the standard speed. And then, like, the other ones when you want to, like, I don't know what their use would be, like, just do something that requires them to be still moving, but you want to see them doing it, and you want to observe it. And then if you're just trying to kill time, put it up to speed 10, and they'll zip all around. I want this to be able to do a straight road. This mountain here. Damn it, right click to reselect. That should be alright, because what I eventually want it to do is just come like that. To that end, I'm going to set up an extension for our stockpile. Finicky little bastard. Oh yeah, and we have another road. So I guess the barn's going to be surrounded by roads. I don't generally like to do that, but oh well. Yeah, no, screw that. Just extend the stockpile more. I can't. Oh, it's too small. I'd have to take this part over, I'd have to take this apart and fuck with it. So no, I'm not gonna do that. We should be okay. My primary concern is how fast they're able to get these buildings set up. We have 7 builders and 10 jobs. They're almost done with the fishing docks, so I think we'll be good. Gonna wait for them to set up our first initial buildings. I want to check and see if they're actually working on this house here, as I said was my primary concern, which I think they're going about it nicely. They're removing the resources. That's one of the things with this mod. Deer tend to not make noise. Another game where I feel like I'm playing Minecraft and I have to listen to cows mooing in my ear as I zoom in. So our fishing dock is almost done. So once it is, we're gonna inoculate not the maximum amount of fishermen we could do, but a couple of them. And I want one villager in every profession that we're currently working on building. So a forester, a hunter, a gatherer. I'm not sure, we do have a herbalist. And then everyone else will be a builder, or a fisherman. And the ones who are inoculated will be defaulting to picking up these resources. Because we have someone set up as a forester, but we don't have a forester's lodge, so there's nothing for them to do. They're going to just collect resources. Or assist someone else in their job. I think laborers will assist in other professions, if they don't have anything to labor. That's a funny looking lake. It's a really funny looking lake. I'd like to build up onto this mountain here. I mean, this island, this little outlet, peninsula, I don't know what you'd call it, but I think it's all mountain. But I really do like this spot. I'm not gonna rush to a trade post, we're just gonna set up this little preliminary foundation. I stopped taking time when I got that phone call, so I'm gonna see how long I've been going, and then if it's too long, I'll say my greeting and move into the third episode. Yeah, we're getting on past the 20-minute mark, so I'm gonna call it a vid. Thank you all for joining me. Sayonara.